Hi everyone. Welcome to this last day of the Busy Persons Retreat, the Easter Busy Persons Retreat. I'm Father Andre, and for those of you who have been journeying with us this week, either in person or online, thanks for your participation. I hope it's been a blessed week for you and a blessed Easter week for all of you. Today I'm here in my church and I'm standing in front of this icon, this image of what is often referred to as the descent into Hades. I like to call it the resurrection icon, because what we see in this particular image is Jesus here in the center, and this is sort of the moment of Jesus' resurrection. It's just after he's entered into Hades, into darkness, which is sort of represented here in the bottom portion by darkness, and even here in the center there's this ominous character who's shackled and bound. But you notice at the bottom, if you can see, there's sort of broken chains and locks or have been broken, sort of reminiscent or a reminder of how with his death that Jesus has conquered and broken the power of death and Hades. And so at the moment of resurrection, he comes up out of the darkness of Hades, having conquered death, and at the same time, he enters into resurrected life. And he takes along with him, in fact, these two individuals, Adam and Eve, reminiscent of all of humanity. He grabs them by the wrist and he's pulled them up out of the darkness of Hades, having conquered death for them and for all of us. And he's surrounded by the prophets and patriarchs of old, and he's entered into a resurrected life. It's a real incredible image, an icon of good news for all of us as Christians, because that's what the resurrection, that's what our faith is meant to be. So during this Easter week, during this bright week, we're reminded of the good news again and again and again of our faith. And this resonates very much with the gospel reading we hear today from the Gospel of John. And the scene is very powerful and interesting because on one level, it shows the days after the resurrection, and Peter and the disciples, what's happened? They've sort of gone back to what they know. The life has returned to normal, if you will. And even for us in these days of Easter Sunday is already in the rearview mirror, and life might be becoming ordinary for us again. And yet in that scene, we know that Jesus comes and he encounters the disciples, and in their ordinary lives, if you will, in the ordinariness of life, he has with them seemingly an ordinary experience of having breakfast with them. But this is no ordinary breakfast. This is no ordinary breakfast on the beach. This is a resurrected breakfast. This is a resurrected meal, a real window into what our faith is meant to be for us. Not ordinary. Even though there's the ordinariness of life, we can get caught up in it, especially in these days of a pandemic. It seems like one day after another, it's the same thing, that nothing seems to change. But the hope and the good news of our faith and the good news of the resurrection, it illustrates that with our life in Christ, that no day is ever ordinary. Every day is extraordinary because Jesus Christ, who is our Redeemer, who is resurrected, he comes to pull us up out of the darkness of the ordinariness of life. And that, friends, I hope is good news for me and for you and for all of us. So thanks again for participating in the retreat. God bless you with your reflections, because Christ is risen.